2, 3. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm doing page 2, find 24% of 100. We're going to do it in 3 different ways, in 3 different methods. The first one is called the unitary method, which is probably the preferred way that the kids should be solving this. So if I want to find 24% of 100, one thing that I know for sure is that 100% of 100 is automatically going to be 100. But then I want to know, well, what's 1% of 100? Well, to find 1% of a number, or 100 in this case, is you take your amount, which is 100, and you divide it by 100. So this represents 1% of 100. Then you ask yourself, well, I don't want 1%, I want 24%. So I'm going to take my 1%, which is 100 divided by 100, which we all know is going to be 1. And then I'm going to multiply it by 24, because I want 24%. And I'm going to multiply this by 24. Then the student can just then take this, and they will get 100 divided by 100, multiply this by 24. They know this is a fraction of, there's a 1 underneath that 24. And then they can just solve this. 100 times 24 is going to be 2400. And you divide that by 100. Kids can do long division to do this, or they can simply cancel out the zeros. So you're going to end up with 24. So the answer to this question is 24. Okay. The second way to do it, you can cut that. You need an eraser.
You're like Mark Rubio right now. Getting your water. Did you see that?
All right.
Did you see Mark Rubio though? Okay.
No. Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah.
That's Florida guy. Okay. All right. So I'm going to solve the same exact problem using method number 2. It says converting the percent into a decimal and then just multiplying by that quantity. This is probably the most what you're most familiar with. So they know that 24% written as a decimal is going to be 0.24. It's equivalent to that. And then I just want 24% of 100. Okay, so then I can do 0.24, and you multiply that by 100. That's bad. Now the students know you don't need to line up the decimal when you're multiplying, because you're going to move them anyway. So there's really no point in trying to line up the decimal. So 0 times 4, 4 times 1 is 4, 0, 0, 2, 0, 0, 4, 2. There are 2 digits after the decimal point, so I need to move the decimal back to the left twice. 1, 2, and I end up with 24. Okay. Finally, the last method that students are expected to solve the same exact problem, the last protocol we're going to use, is simply rewriting the percent as a fraction over 100 and then multiplying it by the quantity. So this is 24% is actually 24 hundredths. And if you multiply that by 100, okay, there's a 1 here. Okay, you can multiply this. Again, this is going to be 2400 divided by 100. You're going to get 24. Now, other kids are going to see this problem, and they're going to want to use cross simplification. They're going to see 24 over 100 times 100 over 1, and they're going to say, well, 100 can go into 100 once. Same thing with 100 can go into 100 once. They're dividing it out. So now you just end up with 24 times 1 is 24. 1 times 1 is 1, which is the same thing as 24. You're done. Still on the same page, the other kind of problem that students are going to see are division problems with fractions. This one in particular is 155 divided by 1/5. They know an algorithm to solve this. They can take 155, and then you're gonna take your you're gonna multiply your dividend by the reciprocal of your divisor. They know that the reciprocal of 1/5 is actually 5 over 1. Student's going to put a 1 here, and they're just going to multiply 155 divided by 5. Obviously, the skill they're working on here is 155 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 25 plus 2 is 7. 5 times 5 plus 2 is 775. The last way that they're expected to solve this problem, okay, is actually to take your fraction and write it out as a decimal and just use straight long division. So they're going to do 155 divided 1/5 as a benchmark fraction. They should know how to convert that. That's 0.2. So then they just literally divide this. 155 divided by 0.2. The skill here is to recognize that you need to move the decimal one place over to make it into a whole number. And if you do that to your divisor, you need to do it to your dividend. You need to move it one place over as well. And then you just simply divide. You can bring up the decimal up here to line all the decimals up. 2 goes into 1, well, it doesn't fit, so a student might put an X there. And then 2 can fit into 15 7 times. 7 times 2 is 14. 1, bring down to 5. 2 goes into 15 7 times. 7 times 2 is 14. Bring the 0 down. 2 goes into 10 5 times. And 5 times 2 is 10, and this is 0, so you get 775.